A fraction of a second, one camera angle, a single, silent strike. By the time the sun came up the next morning, nobody was discussing the tactics, the goals, or the referee. This isolated physical altercation was the only thing playing on screens across the globe. A World Cup semifinal usually leaves a legacy of athletic triumph or heartbreak. This match left a disciplinary crisis that immediately overshadowed the 90 minutes of elite football that preceded it. In modern football, a month of careful preparation and athletic peak can be entirely eclipsed by a split-second lapse in composure. The environment for this collision was Atlanta, England versus Argentina, two nations carrying decades of highly charged adversarial history onto the pitch. For an hour and a half, the match delivered exactingly tight, physically punishing football. Players on both sides were pushed to absolute exhaustion before the final whistle confirmed a 2-1 victory for Argentina. The immediate aftermath saw an eruption of relief and celebration from the South American side, playing out directly next to the opponents they just eliminated. On the opposite side, the sudden finality of the loss settled over the English camp. You have extreme physical adrenaline colliding abruptly with total devastation. The physical toll and the emotional whiplash of elimination created an incredibly volatile environment. The psychological groundwork for a flashpoint was laid before a single word was exchanged. In that chaotic post-match environment, Argentina substitute Valentin Barco engaged in a celebration. Broadcast footage clearly shows several English players reacting to it as a direct provocation. Cameras then isolated Jude Bellingham. He tracks toward Barco, visibly enraged, and the resulting footage shows Bellingham striking the back of the Argentine player's head. Here is where the facts stop. Neither player has issued a statement. Whatever was actually said on the pitch to trigger the physical response remains entirely unverified. We have physical proof of the contact from the broadcast tape. Everything else circulating online, the supposed insults, the detailed timelines of who provoked whom, is purely speculative. This silence is calculated. Pending an official disciplinary review, legal and public relations teams routinely advise athletes to lock down all public communication to avoid complicating their case. But nature abhors a vacuum. Without verified facts to anchor the story, millions of viewers are left to construct their own certainties from 15 seconds of silent video. The clip propagated instantly. Major networks and social algorithms distributed the confrontation to millions of screens, while the players were still walking down the stadium tunnel. The football world fractured into two camps. One side condemned an elite athlete for losing his composure, while the other argued the physical reaction requires the context of extreme emotional provocation. The governing body now has to evaluate the evidence. A retroactive review could result in a lengthy, multi-match ban that extends well beyond the international break and directly damages the player's upcoming club season. Long before a disciplinary committee could even assemble to review the footage, the digital trial had already reached its own polarized verdicts. To understand why this carries so much weight, look at the physical realities. You take a year of preparation, flood the system with adrenaline, and apply the shock of elimination. It creates the most emotionally volatile 10 minutes an athlete can experience. Then apply the optics. When a globally marketable athlete is involved, the microscope magnifies everything. The fame of the player accelerates the news cycle exponentially. This creates an institutional problem. The governing body must weigh human context against a rigid rulebook. If lenient, critics argue superstars operate under different laws. If strictly by the book, it ignores the psychological pressure cooker of elimination. And the strategy of maintaining silence, while legally sound, actively feeds the chaos. By refusing to establish the facts, the players surrender all narrative control to internet rumors. The structural failure here is the sport's total inability to manage the ensuing void of information. This specific incident is part of a wider pattern. Throughout this tournament, the defining narratives have frequently involved tactical fouls, disputed calls, and heated sideline arguments rather than the actual football. We are watching a modern panopticon. Every square inch of the pitch is under surveillance, meaning every fraction of a second of frustration, every isolated reaction is recorded in high definition and instantly distributed.
These flashes of raw, human conflict have transitioned from being minor subplots of a match into the primary focus of the global audience. Elite athletes are required to operate at the absolute limit of physical aggression for 90 minutes, and then immediately switch to flawless, emotionless composure the second the whistle blows, all under inescapable digital scrutiny. Which brings us back to this single frame of contact. Right now, this is where the story remains frozen. Until the institutional bodies hand down a verdict, and until the players involved choose to speak, every debate happening online is built entirely on assumptions. Whatever final verdict is delivered will dictate how football polices emotional flashpoints on its biggest global stages. Atlanta leaves the sport with a stark reality. The court of public opinion now moves vastly faster and hits much harder than any referee's whistle.